The Honourable Member for Trois-Rivières. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Minister of Intergovernmental Affairs has in his employ 32 officials at the Privy Council office, including 8 senior policy advisors. He also employs 16 people considered exempt staff, including, namely, a Director of Policy and another senior policy advisor. With such a team behind him, can the Minister of Intergovernmental Affairs update us on his strategic plan for the 3 parts of his mandate?
Order. The Honourable President of the Treasury Board.
Well, Mr. Speaker, what I can report on is the fact that the latest public accounts make very clear that spending in ministers' offices has declined by 11.4%, Mr. Speaker. This is the respect for the taxpayers that this government holds true to and will continue to do so in the future.
Honourable Member for Dartmouth, Cole Harbour.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I guess 8 senior policy advisors and 16 ministerial staff are just not enough to help the minister get up and answer questions at QP. His job is to provide policy advice and strategic planning, liaise and advise on relations with provinces and territories, and assist with communications and parliamentary affairs. Ministers are also responsible for coordinating inter-provincial meetings. I wonder if the minister could give us a report on some of the positive outcomes in the last few inter-provincial meetings that he's attended.
Great question. Great.
The Honourable Minister of Intergovernmental Affairs.
I'm a bit nervous now. I'd like to say that this job has given me a great opportunity to spend time with the premiers and intergovernmental affairs ministers right across the country. And I've learned a lot, about our country. And I'm very proud of what we've accomplished as a country. And I've had a wonderful meeting, for example, with the Premier with Gonderdale, Premier of New Brunswick, Premier of Nova Scotia. I've been to Alberta, and
The Honourable Member for St. John's East.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and it's good to see the Minister on his feet here in this House. I understand, Mr. Speaker, the most recent national interprovincial meetings were with the National Aboriginal Women's Summit and the Federal Provincial Territorial Meeting of Ministers responsible for justice and public safety. The Privy Council Office says he and his staff are responsible for, quote, communications and parliamentary affairs support on issues and initiatives with important federal, provincial, territorial dimensions. Given the high profile of both these issues in Canada today, can the Minister provide the House with a report on the results of his meetings about justice and public safety?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Justice.
Mr. Speaker, among the initiatives that we have been taking, this government, with our provincial and territorial counterparts, is showing leadership and taking action on the important issue of missing and murdered Aboriginal women. The Ministers of Justice and Public Safety met just last week with their provincial counterparts to further develop strategies, coordinate efforts, and share expertise on this issue. In January 2012, a comprehensive missing women report provided 52 recommendations. The province has recently acknowledged our government has implemented almost all of them. We've invested $25 million over 5.
The Honourable Member for St. John's South Mount Pearl.
The minister fails to get on his feet to answer questions about his own portfolio. Let's talk about something else the minister is responsible for. His election returns suggest his campaign cashed a check for $5,500 from a construction company. He then tried to cover his tracks by coming up with after-the-fact personal receipts. Mr. Speaker, this matter could be cleared up right now if the minister will stand up and explain what happened. Will he do it now?
Yeah. The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Transport. Order. The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Transport.
Well, Mr. Speaker, the honourable member's eyes have obviously played a terrible trick on him. He said that the member didn't stand up. We just saw him stand up and talk about the pride he has in working on behalf of all Canadians. It seems that his speaking notes have likewise played a similar trick on him. He would have known, if he read them correctly, that it was in fact his party that accepted $340,000 in illegal union money, and that it was his leader who attempted to cover it up over months and months and months. Why doesn't he stand up and tell the rest of the House why it took so long for the NDP to be forced